Shocking, but here I am back. I'm surprised I can still talk. I went 11 hours yesterday, really, with other than 2 quick bathroom breaks, 11 hours straight streaming as we were pumping up the launch of, you can see right behind me, Barbaric Adventures #1, the magazine, the book, however you want to describe it, that you need. And I'm here to tell you why you need it. But that's not the only reason I'm here. I am here because I was talking to some of my friends. I have friends in the industry, big name people like Ron Garney and David Williams. I was talking to these guys on the phone today. And as I was talking, you talk and sometimes it's hard to work because you're talking. And so I had this sketch that I started yesterday on Graybeards, didn't finish because, well, it was an epic day of selling, of hosting, all that stuff. And I started working on it and I was like, hey, this isn't too bad. And so I thought, you know what? Why am I sitting here drawing this to entertain myself when I can draw it for you guys? So we're at the inking stage now of this. And so I thought, what the heck? And so I said, David, what are you doing, man? That is my dog. It doesn't matter what time of day, what time of night. I turn on the stream. He starts barking. This is me closing my door. There. So anyway, I said, David, let's just go on like the old times, the good old days, where it just to be me and David drawing on a stream in a very competitive manner, I must admit, before Graybeards really developed and became what it is now. And so he said, yeah, sure, let's do it. I don't know where he's at, but I sent him the link. What can you do? So we'll just wait for David to show up. In the meantime, there are a few people here already. How about that? Creative Phase here. She's like, what the heck? Dennis Rodriguez, established in 1979, is here. Spam Thropacochorus. Spam Thropacochorus. God, it's hard. I'm just going to call you Spam. There's Corum. Comics Legends here. Yeah. Comic. Yeah, I did. I posted yesterday. I haven't posted yet today because I just got up. Yeah, you know what? It's an amazing thing. I have I have 15,000 followers on Instagram. I have 19,000 on Facebook. I have 12,000 on Twitter, right? You'd think, wow, out of, should only get more than 200 people, which we have 200 and some right now backed. And I know all you guys probably in the chat have already backed, and I thank you for it. But yeah, you'd think you'd be able to corral a few more. But we will as we go forward with this campaign. It's a daily thing. It's a grind. It's get out on the YouTubes, get out on the social media platforms and let people know about it. And that's what I'm doing. There's Steve Patterson. He's the most important, wealthiest, most important, influential person I know. And I'm not joking. Is here. I went to high school with Steve. We were best buddies back in the day, and we still are, just not as well connected because, everybody's got their life, and I don't have a life, but most of my people I'm associated with do. And so Steve, thank you for backing. Steve has been there backing these projects, and I actually put Steve in an issue of What The way back in 1990. So yeah, we go back way back. Mike McMahon says he's just waiting on payday. I know, and I'm just going to keep reminding you until payday comes that you got to back this project. But I appreciate that. There's Jay Roscoe. Love the cover. Looking forward to Barbaric Adventures. Thank you so much. Sequential Treasures. James says, I added that snow hunt print to my order. Aaron, keep the momentum going. Indeed. Thank you for that. I'm trying to decipher this. That's it. Yep. Lifeless Aaron kicks a rock, head down, pouting. I know you guys think you're funny, but if I can't understand your joke, then there you go. Leg kick. First one out of the gate. Steve, my good friend Steve Patterson, is rocking the beard, Pat Stevenson. It was Pat Steverson. See, I flipped his name and What Then? His name is Steve Patterson. I called him Pat Steverson. And you even forgot. You've been bragging about being in that comic book for 35 years and you screwed it up. I'm telling you. There's Henry Thrun. Now, Henry told me yesterday why he couldn't back the book right now. And I would okay with that. Gary took a little bit of offense to that, but I'm okay with it. Henry's he's a mod, so I'll cut him a little slack. I understand. Oh, see, Steve's blaming autocorrect now. Okay. Steve, did you see that Nebraska won their first NCAA tournament game today? Ever? Steve and I are Nebraska fans way back. He's actually switched to the Ducks now, Oregon Ducks, because they're actually more successful. I'm not a bandwagoner. I kept with my faithful Huskers no matter how bad they've sucked. Let's see here. Level, you forgot saying lifeless? Come on, Aaron. Did I say lifeless? See, I don't remember what I said 10 seconds ago. So, don't. Oh, Clint got the joke. So everybody got the joke except me. Great. Okay. And let's see. Gary's pretty funny, but he seemed ornery the other day. No. Okay, let's call David on the phone and find out where the heck he's at. I better not put him on speaker. That might be embarrassing. I don't know. We'll get to the bottom of this. Dude, where are you? I'm logging in. Okay, I'm live right now. We're talking about you behind your back. So, all right. Okay, bye. All right, he says he's logging in right now. So I don't know how long I'm going to go, but it's all about promotion, baby. And I may be ready to drop dead, but well, not drop dead. I mean, I'm old, but I'm not that old. But I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep promoting. Getting organized here. I guess I should have done that before I came on, but it was like, I'm just doing it. There's David Williams. Woo! Welcome.
Was it?
This is, I was just mentioning to the fine folks here that are joining us that this is how we used to do it back in the day. Just you and me, mano y mano. And
memories.
I admit, I'm willing to admit I lost a few of those battles, but not all of them. I know your memory is a little different than mine, but I did win a few of those, I think.
I have a steel trap memory about all of those shows.
Do you? Okay, we'll see. All righty. So David's here. David, of course, is contributing greatly to our project, and I'm going to bring it up right now because that's really the real reason I'm doing this, not just to draw live, but to take a look at the campaign. And here we go. Let's start off, ladies and gentlemen. This is Barbaric Adventures #1. Let's do a little. Let's take a look at this trailer right here.
Yeah.
That almost sounded like that was in the video.
It should have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
All right, folks, we're at 215 backers right now. That's just a warm starting point. We want to catapult this into the stratosphere. And so if you haven't backed this campaign, please consider doing so. Look at this. You get 4 cover options here. That's by me. That is painted, hand painted with a brush and paint on a canvas. That's real art. David Williams did the same thing. He didn't do it on canvas, though. He did it on paper. So, but it's still a very cool cover right there. That's cover number 3, also known as cover number C. I'm rummy, dude. I'm like so sleep deprived right now. Anyway, this is Dan Lawless's Dangerous Double D, Dan Lawless's cover. And then, of course, the great Joe Jusko, lending his talents to this project, did a guest artist cover for us. You got to wonder how that chick, she's got to be getting cold out there, don't you think? I guess maybe I have to rethink my designs on this character. She's, I don't know if she's dressed accordingly for the weather. Although I have seen chicks sunbathe out like at snow skiing places when the sun's out. So
That's crazy.
Yeah, so maybe, I don't know. Anyway, so you have 4 cover choices there. Look at some of this original art that is part of the campaign. These are the first 2 pages to my story. There's the first page to Dan Lawless's story. David will be revealing stuff in the coming weeks. There's 2 featured items. There's only one that I have here on the right-hand side, which is the 4-pack plus, which features all 4 covers and the sketchbook signed by me, and it's discounted by $15. That's a pretty good deal. Any place that I've seen a deal, that would be right up there as big deals. The other thing that's a good deal is the big Barbaric box. And the thing about that is you get everything that's offered in the campaign plus You get this 4-print portfolio signed by me in an illustrated envelope, and you get this cover. Now, this isn't the finished cover. This is a color rough. It will be a painted cover when it's done. But if you want this cover, the only way you can get it is in the big barbaric box. It's the only way you can get it. You can't add it on. It's only in the box. So if you want to absolutely get everything and a couple of items that are going to be very high-end collectibles, just because the print run is going to be so minute, I'd get the big barbaric box. That's just me, though. I'm a high roller. So here's the Barbaric Adventures sketchbook, in which the one that Gary Martin, I remember specifically said, "Wow, Aaron, that looks professional." So I got that going for me. This is our Ice Princess print called Snow Hunt. This comes signed. You can add this baby on. You can get a Barbaric Adventures shot glass with this logo laser etched into the glass. This will now be the 5th shot glass that we've provided for you guys over the campaigns over the last 5 years. And there's going to be a total of 6 shot glasses in the entire collection, but this is number 5. You don't want to miss that. There's some original artwork for sale. Some of this is already gone. Some of it is still there and available. There's David's covers for sale. My cover is for sale as well. And if you keep scrolling, the way Indiegogo is set up now, you just scroll all the way to the bottom, and that's where you find everything. So you order a reward, choose one of these rewards. There's you can get the individual covers, you can get the 4-pack plus, you can get the comic or the magazine and the sketchbook. You can get the magazine, the sketchbook, and the print. There's the big barbaric box I talked about. And then there's just all this original art that is available. The ones that are purple are still available. The ones that are gray have been sold. And then all these add-ons. And you don't just have to add on, or you're not just able to add on stuff from this campaign, but from previous campaigns. If you missed Wraith of God, you got 1, 2, and 3 are all here. Kit Carter, Planet Doom graphic novel. If you missed that, here's your chance. Garbage Man trade paperback, Power Cube trade paperback. You can add on the single issues if you'd like, and the Kit Carter sketchbook. All of this good, fun stuff is available at your fingertips just for the clicking. So,
and this is probably one of the best looking campaigns I've seen in a long time.
And I didn't pay him to say that. He really means that. So get in there, guys. If you haven't backed, please consider doing so. You'll find a link in the description of this video. Take you right there, and it's also pinned to the top of this chat. If you're over on X watching this, you can just go over to Indiegogo, type in Aaron Lopresti or type in Barbaric Adventures, and it'll come right up. You can back right there. Stealth X5 sending us $2 and a hello. Thank you, Stealth. We appreciate that. Henry Turns says, I missed Wraith of God 3. Can I order just that? Well, if you want just that, you have to go to my website to order just that. You can't order just that on this campaign. You have to order one of the Barbaric Adventures books, and then you can add on, but you have to order one of the barbaric things. But if you just want Wraith of God 3, you can go to my website, which is aaronlopresti.com, and you can order it there. There you go. Major Glitch says it cannot be stressed just how good Wraith of God is. Well worth picking up, but get Garbage Man as well. Otherwise, the nightclub stuff might not make sense. I think what he means to say is Garbage Man's just as good, and that's why you should get it. But thank you, Major Glitch, for pumping up Wraith of God. We appreciate it. This is what I'm saying. Comics Legend says, let's get to 20K tonight. We've got to get to 20K. Because believe it or not, guys, there is a dollar amount we have to hit or I lose money. And you don't want to see me in the poorhouse. So let's get those numbers, because I got to be able to pay David and Dan for their work. It would be, be terrible if I were to gyp them, wouldn't it? So
yeah, we're not like cheap evangelists that's just trying to dig in your pocket and whatnot. You're actually going to get something, and you're going to benefit from it.
That's right.
It'll enlighten you. It'll warm your cockles. I don't know what I'm saying. It'll do something for you.
It is. It's a cockle warming book, and I don't think you want to miss out on that opportunity. Sequential Treasure says, got to bounce, but continued success in the campaign. Back at today, folks. Thank you, James, for chopping by. Appreciate it very much. The crowd is growing. We got 85 viewers, and that's pretty good considering I just came out of the blue without announcing anything and just jumped on. Henry Angelus wants clarification. What the heck is a cockle? I'll let David handle that.
Google it.
Google the cockle. All right, I'm going to switch cameras, and we'll go back and check the campaign later, but I'm going to switch cameras, and let's see. I hope it's working. It is. Look at that. Okay, so again, I don't want to beat a dead horse or a dead dinosaur, but look at these really cool pages. The original art here for Primal Zone. I don't know, David. I don't think I told you this. Maybe I did. No, I don't think I did. Maybe I did. I can't remember. I did this. Can you see your screen?
Yes, I can. I'm looking.
Okay, you see this?
I was looking at that earlier.
Okay, so this, yeah, we talked about this because this was one of the cover options I was going to do for Cover E, and we opted to great discussion. David said, "No, go with the more Doc Savage one because it's different." And I said, "Okay, I'm with you." And then as I was looking at my script, I was going, "You know what? This is a scene that's literally in the story. This isn't a Gil Kane moment where I drew something on the cover that wasn't in the book. This is actually in the book." And I'm like, this is now a splash page in the book.
There you go.
So that may be the next page I do, but I want to get this sketch done that I started yesterday. And you finished yours.
Go full screen so people could see.
Well, we're both going to be drawing here in a minute. So
I know, but you're...
See, look at I've turned that into something. It's on its way.
Yeah. That's nice. I like that you blacked out that leg. That's cool.
You know me, man. Trying to get those heavy blacks in there. Yep. Get the shadows in there. Create some volume. I'm really trying to David Finch out my work. So anyway, yeah, so I was doing that while I was talking to Garney on the phone this morning. And then I talked to David, and I was like, you know what? If I'm going to finish this, why don't I finish it live, baby? So that's what we're going to do right now. I don't know, David, what are you going to draw? You got your paper out, so you must be ready for something.
I'm not ready, but I'm going to figure out something. But that's really cool. I dig it. You can shrink your page now.
Oh, okay. Thanks for reminding me. I was yeah, there we go.
We can show this one more time.
There we go. That's David Williams's painted cover. I really like this. Good use of negative space. I like the little demon monster guys floating up there. I love the kids' expression. The color scheme, everything on this is really, really nice. And David is offering this up for sale on the campaign page. So if you're an original art guy, this might be the thing for you. So it is there on the campaign.
Yeah, I had a completely, I don't want to say completely different, but a different layout for this, where I was actually articulating what these characters really look like in the book. And I was just like, no, it's too much. It was just too much information.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be something that's revealed through his journey. And so,
right.
So I just made it a little bit more
ambiguous.
Ambiguous, yeah.
No, I think it works out really well because they're more like icons of evil as opposed to specific characters.
Yeah.
And like you said, you're trying to, you don't want to give away the story on the cover, although movies today seem to want to give away the movie in the trailer, but we want to keep a few surprises for you guys so that when you get the book, you're like, oh, I don't want you getting the book and going, oh, I've already seen that.
Yeah.
Now I was talking to you about influences, and I guess we were talking about on GRAYBEARD'S yesterday a little bit how Dan and I were big Frazetta guys, but you weren't so much. Gary too. He's a big Frazetta guy. What were your influences Was it straight superhero stuff mostly, or how would you
For
categorize your influences growing up?
well, I mean, when I was a kid and I wanted to draw, it was cartoons first, and
Like Flintstones, that kind of stuff.
more Popeye,
Okay.
like, and there's this TV show that was hosted by this guy named Tom Hatton.
Mm-hmm.
I think I told this story before, but I'll try to condense it down. Tom Hatton had this TV show. He had two TV shows. He had the morning show that showed Popeye, and then in the afternoon he would be on the Family Film Festival, and this was in Los Angeles. I don't know how far spread it was, but I'm sure it was all up and down California. And he would show Popeye cartoons and Max Fleischer, Superman and Woody Woodpecker and Chili Willy and all that type of stuff. And in the middle of the show, and there were kids like there on the set, right? And he had a big tablet drawing easel and he had a big pad of paper. And he said, "Oh, it's time for the squiggle, and this, it would be some kind of random squiggle on the page and stuff like that a kid sent in to him."
Mm-hmm.
And he would turn it into, "Oh, this is the Max Fleischer Superman, and it's a profile," and it would be perfect. And I'm like, how did he do that? And so that made me want to draw. So I'd be there, and I had my grandmother or my mom buy me a drawing pad, and I try to keep up with him, and he would draw Popeye all the time. And that's how I learned how to draw Popeye, because I was not a kid that was always outside. I just loved drawing.
Yeah.
Seeing that got me going, wow. And then later I saw the live action, the George Reeves Superman. And I was just like, okay, what is this? Because I saw the Fleischer Superman cartoon and I was impressed by that. But I was like, wait, he's a real person?
How old were you with this time, would you say?
5, 6, 7, all that age, where you're really seeing things for what they are.
Yeah.
You're wrapping your head around it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And so and just early on, my mom used pencil and paper as a babysitter. She knew how to calm me down and say, go draw something, that kind of thing. And so I was always drawing something or trying to draw what I saw on television. But when I saw the Superman TV show and then later the Batman TV show, when I saw the Batman TV show, I'm going off on little tangents, but
that's fine.
My grandmother loved the fact that I loved that show so much. And then I would kind of pantomime the things that the Adam West show was doing and stuff. Like when they were socking and punching and jumping off of things, I was doing that. And so my grandmother got the great idea. She had this blue dress that she hadn't worn in decades or whatever. And she turned it into a Batman cowl and cape for me. And I was like the happiest kid on earth running around with that cape and cowl that she made with the floppy bat ears. But I didn't care. I thought I looked exactly like Adam West. I think I have a picture somewhere where I'm wearing the cape at a park because I went there with my aunt. But that same day that I went to the park with my aunt, someone stole my cowl because I had put it to the side.
Oh my gosh. And
someone stole it and it kind of ruined my day. I was like, but I still had the cape, But anyway, just drawing, Popeye, and that got my. I thought I was gonna do cartoons. I didn't know about comic books until maybe I was like 10 or 11.
Yeah. See, I was the same way. I was drawing Flintstones and, Popeye and other cartoons like that. And then I discovered comics when I was like 9, I think.
Yeah.
And it just totally changed my world.
Yeah. So I thought I was going to be an animator when later I was just like, oh, I'm going to draw cartoons.
Well, in a way you did, because you worked at Warner Brothers for a long time in consumer products, but you also did animation, or at least didn't you do character design and storyboard and stuff?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. I think I did everything at some point. I actually even did some animation, like moving stuff for some companies, and it's hard. Storyboards is hard, character designs is hard, because when you're doing like character designs, you just think you're just doing characters just standing up and you're turning them. You have to draw like someone else. You got to draw out of your comfort zone. Mm-hmm. So if I'm working on the Batman and Superman cartoon, I didn't come up with those designs. Bruce Timm did. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or him or Glenn Murakami. And, I have to draw like those guys. And I have to do it so precise. You know what I mean? It was rough. And then when I did storyboards, that was even harder. And it's not about drawing precise. It's about volume and fast. There was like 2 nights of staying up 24 hours, trying to get this done for this deadline and trying to tell a story and make it right. And doing storyboards isn't the same as doing a comic book.
No,
it's not even remotely the same, and I've noticed over the years, like a lot of my storyboard friends and stuff, they got stacks and stacks and just boards, just like phone book thick of just drawings, and they don't even remember. They're just like, move on to the next one, move on to the next one, that kind of thing. And it's just like, I can't live like that. I was just like, no way. But that's their whole life,
So your biggest influence then was animation and probably superheroes to a certain degree, right?
Yes. And that's what I was going to say. I got into the very thing that I loved the most, and I was fortunate, and I had the talent and the people around me to guide me and to refine my style enough to make other professionals go, oh, that guy could work. He could do it. You know what I mean? Let him come and work for us. And you know what I'm saying? So it's been a fun journey in that sense.
Yeah, I don't know when I got exactly hooked on Frazetta, but I think it was, well, I've told the story before. It was on when I got the Fantastic Art of Frank Frazetta, or the Valentine book. Mm-hmm. First one that came out, because I think that was 75 that came out. So I think I would have been 11. So I'd already had some exposure to comics, and I was starting to get into comic books. And then I saw that stuff, and I was just like, what the heck is this? And I think, trying to remember back like that is hard on the details, but I want to believe that I got like price guides pretty early, but I think the first price guide I got was 75 as well. So it all would have been around the same time, but you would see, like, going through the price guide, the comic book price guide, you would see like covers that Frazetta did, right? Like Buck Rogers or whatever, because they'd have them showcased in there. And then to, see a book with his artwork. So I was somewhat, I think, familiar with his stuff, but not to that degree. I just remember how just exciting it was at that young age to get your hands on a book like that with that kind of art in it, and it just blowing your mind. And all you could think about was, how can I get to be that good? How can I want to do that? And so I don't know why I always had this sort of slant in that direction for fantasy and but I always did. I mean, I always liked horror films growing up, or monster movies, I should say, not horror films, but monster movies, because I like the monsters. Even as a, before I was even, reading comics or even knew what those were. And my mom was just always like, I do not understand your fascination with monsters, And
I'm a boy.
yeah, exactly. And so I guess, I always did like superhero stuff, but it was never like what my number one goal,
Yeah. It
became that because you get into comics and it's like, that's pretty much what everybody wants is superheroes. But I was always my biggest fan of, Frazetta and Wrightson and Barry Smith. And I mean, that's no news to anybody, but they were drawing stuff. I always associated, what it was? I always associated that kind of artwork with more detail and more illustrative. And so it felt like it was cooler to me. Like, oh, there's more going on there than just Superman fighting somebody, like what Kirby was doing. It's a different thing.
Yeah.
And so I was always fascinated with that illustration part of it, where you could draw and do really detailed, really cool stuff, but at the same time, it was like made up stuff. It was monsters, it was creatures, it was, dinosaurs, whatever, rather than, drawing a guy sitting on a park bench. Right. Yeah. So even though I got, obviously most of my career has been doing superheroes, I always got the greatest amount of satisfaction drawing like Frazetta or drawing like Wrightson, and that's come full circle to what we're doing with Barbaric Adventures. It's, kind of finally getting to do that sort of Frazetta thing. And for you, I mean, I know it's the, I won't speak totally for you, but I know that the, just the joy of doing your own thing, which is how this was. I just said, hey, David, you got a story you want to do that would fit into this magazine? You're like, yeah, well, now that you mention it. So it fits certainly into the structure of what Barbaric magazine, Barbaric Adventures is, but it still, I think, fits into what you like to do. You're obviously not drawing something that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Right. But
oh, for sure. Heck no. I would have said no if I didn't have something.
And that's what's so cool about your thing is that it's such a great story. And I like the concept of the moral behind it, if you will. So we really have we have Dan and I who were big Frazetta guys, and your story is really about heroism. So it's kind of, or heroism. It's kind of like, a medieval superhero barbarian story. If that makes sense, Yeah,
it's going to have, it'll satisfy the barbarian itch in it, but the main character has to go through this. I think it's kind of like what I was explaining yesterday about like why people like Conan and stuff like that. It's obvious why people would like Conan, but you continue to buy the book because you want to see what other threat he's going to overcome.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's what this is. It's not so much, the main character. It is the main character, of course it is, but I want you to be able to, see yourself in the character,
Right, and the journey that he's taking and how
exactly. But the threats are big, and there's life and death and all that kind of stuff. And when people see it and they're just like, oh wow, okay, yeah, I get it,
Well, I've always been a firm believer in, when I'm writing stories, that I always want some sort of moral to the tale, right? There's a purpose beyond just the adventure.
Yeah.
And that's what gives it depth, right? And that's what was really, when you pitched your story idea to me, I just thought, okay, that is really cool. And visually it's going to be really cool, but I think in terms of what people take away from the story, it's it's not just, Conan breaking into the, tower and stealing a jewel and killing the evil wizard. I mean, there's more going on than that.
Yeah.
And that's why I thought, oh, that's going to be really cool. And then of course you did your cover, and I was like, oh yeah. So, I we were talking about this off camera. This is, yeah, it's self-serving to say this, but I really believe it. I really think it's true that this is a really cool project, and
Absolutely.
the stories in it and the artwork in it are just going to be like, it's next level kind of stuff. And yeah, that's a sales pitch, but it's also true. And you got guys doing passion projects here, and those usually turn out pretty good.
Absolutely.
So get up there and back Barbaric Adventures if you haven't done it yet, because you're going to be sorry if you miss this.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron made me a promise that this book will come out, so you'll get to see some David Williams work.
That's the other thing too that's kind of cool about it, is that people, they see Dan Lawless's covers all over the place, but he hasn't done any interior work, right? And people are like, oh, I'd love to see Dan do a story. Well, guess what? Dan's doing a story. And it's like you've been attached to a couple of really good projects that, by no control of your own, haven't come out. And this is, people have been waiting for this. They watch us on Graybeards for 2.5 years draw, and they're like, man, I'd love to see David do a story. Well, guess what? David's doing a story, and it's going to come out, and it's going to come out relatively quickly. So this isn't going to be a year from now this book is going to ship. It's going to be shipping months from now, because we have 3 guys working on it, and so the time commitment for just any one person on this book is not that great. And so we can do like really top-notch work, and because there's 3 stories in it that we're all, working on our own story, that, we can have this thing done in 2.5, 3 months into the printer. So that's the goal.
And the fun thing about this is that, you and I have this fake like competition thing or whatever, but there's still something a little bit true about where we push each other to do better, and to do our best work and stuff. So like I said yesterday, I had to see what you and Dan were doing before I got started on my cover. I said, okay, how much do I got to bring it? Oh, I got to really bring it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be, it's like when you're at a convention, and you get a sketchbook and someone says, hey, can you do something in my sketchbook? And you always, the first thing you do is you look at what is in there before you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start seeing like, oh, Adam Hughes drew in the sketchbook. Oh, there's Travis. You're like, holy crap, I got to bring it or I'm going to be embarrassed.
Yeah, someone just recently did that to me with a book, and they got they said, oh yeah, I want you to do some Batmans for me, and oh, here's some of the previous. This is before I knew who he was, and I kind of knew who he was, and I set my price. But he goes, oh yeah, here's some of the ones that I got after I set my price, and he was locked in. And then I saw what he got. The first thing he shows at the very top was an Alex Ross one. I was like, damn, this guy had money. I should have said more.
Well, yeah, because now you have to really do something special, because it's like you got an Alex Ross,
Yeah, and Alex didn't like pump the brakes on the quality either. I was like, thanks. I can't make this a sketch like what they're supposed to be. I have to make it like it's a final,
Uh-huh.
He had some really great stuff, but I mean, that's what you and Dan do when I see your stuff. Even Gary, when he shows some of the things that he does for commissions on the show, I'm like, sheesh. I said, I'm slacking.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's like you take your brush and you just throw it down and go, okay, that's you can't do that.
Yeah.
can't compete with that. But no, it is. And it's, I mean, that's why, you know, you want to, if you can get along with the people, I mean, you want to surround yourself with talented people that push you all the time. Now, granted, if you can't get along with them, it's pretty hard to surround yourself around how talented they are. So there is that caveat. But I've always, you know, when I first got my booth at San Diego, is because Dan Barrington and William Stout, were constantly telling me every year, because I was go to San Diego and I'd be an artist out. I mean, you were there, you know.
Yeah.
And they were constantly telling me, like, dude, you got to get a booth. If you really, you know, if you want to make money, you got to get a booth. You got to get a booth. And also part of getting a booth was, you know, I was at the stage of my career where I was just, you know, this was, you know, the early to mid 90s, still trying to establish myself. And I thought, well, if I get a booth, that's going to make me look like a more important person than I am. And, you know, so it's all part of the illusion, right? And so, but the thing with the booth was it's freaking expensive, right?
Yeah.
And so I remember I was in a studio called Studiosaurus in Portland, which most of you guys know about because we've talked about it many times. But so I was kind of the guinea pig. Everybody was like, well, we got to see how Aaron does at the booth, right? And so, you know, I told everybody, yeah, I made, you know, twice as much money or more in the booth that I did in Artist Alley. And so then I had a lot of people going, hey, man, you want to share that booth and blah, blah, blah. And so, you know, exactly. And so I had this choice to make. I was like, well, you know, do I just want to let anybody in here, or do I want to let someone that I think is either better than me or certainly more popular than me in the booth with me, because that's going to do me more good than it is, you know, if I got someone that was on my equal level or maybe wasn't as prominent as I was. And I wasn't that prominent at the time. But so Terry Dodson wanted to come in the booth. And I, you know, I was friends with Terry anyway, but I was like, that makes sense to me because he's going to bring people to our booth that I wouldn't bring, you know, because he, you know, he was at the time, he was already doing, I think he was doing Harley Quinn with Carl Kiesel and had already done some X-Men stuff. And I was still like kind of emerging from the broken remains of Ultraverse. And so I was just like, I want to be around people that are more talented than I am and certainly more popular than I am, because that's only going to push me and make me better. And it's going to make me look better too. It's like, oh, you know, people go, oh, Terry Dodson's really good. And he's hanging around with Aaron Lopresti. He must be pretty good too. You know, what may or may not be true, but, you know, it's all about perception.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, all that to say that getting pushed is a good thing. And in this sort of modern era where we all kind of work from home now, you know, back then you could studio up with some guys and really put you in a position where you're getting pushed every day.
Yeah.
And there is some value to that. And I think that's kind of was the purpose of Graybeard's studio. We can't really, we all live different places in the country, so we can't exactly, you know, get together and hang out and draw every day, but we can do it online and try to create that studio atmosphere. And I know a lot of you guys in the chat draw as well. And so you guys are participating in that studio experience with us, even though we can't all like hang out together.
Yeah.
But I think it is valuable.
For sure. And I encourage as many of you who do draw to draw with us as much as possible.
Yeah. And it's funny how this project, and I said this yesterday, this was never intended. I didn't set out to make a Graybeard's project, but that's what it's become because everybody involved in the project is on Graybeard's studio. And the funny thing is, we had talked about this. I don't know if you remember. We had talked to this back when Kelsey was in the studio about doing this book. And he was going to, I believe, Kelsey, and this is kind of unfortunate when I say this, but he was going to do his Shank character. He was going to premiere the Shank character in this magazine.
Yeah.
And you had something else, I think, in mind. You had like kind of a road warrior kind of thing you were going to do, I think, if memory serves. You may not even remember what it was that you were thinking of at the time. And I was always going to do this, which I'm going to do, but then it just kind of got put off. And
yeah, I mean, I still hold out hope for Kelsey that he's finishing like 10 issues worth of Shank.
he's just going to show up with this great book, and we're all just going to go, whoa!
Exactly. And say, hey, what are you losers been working on?
Yeah.
And we're like, well, we got this one thing.
Yeah, we did this one thing in 2.5 years, and no, it's he's got to be doing something, right? I mean,
I don't know how he could just shut it off. He's an artist.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, was he working at a? Is he like Elvis? You know, when Elvis, everybody thought Elvis was, you know, when Elvis died, everybody's like, no, he's not dead. He's just, you know, hiding out.
Yeah.
Kelsey's working at a, you know, grocery store someplace, and no one knows it's Kelsey.
Everybody's gonna know it's Kelsey.
That's right. I just saw Kelsey. There was a. Do you remember when there was that story going around that I think it was the guy, the actor who played Buckwheat in the Little Rascals, that this guy was going around claiming that he was Buckwheat. And he was working at a grocery store or something like that. And it was no one really knew if it was him or not, you know. And this, I'm assuming it probably wasn't, but it was all of these like celebrity stories that just
you ain't Buckwheat. I think Eddie Murphy. It was Eddie Murphy. It was either Buckwheat or Stymie. Like he paid for their funeral when they passed. I was just like, whoa, that's pretty crazy.
Well, didn't he? Well, was he doing Buckwheat, or he was doing? Yeah,
he was doing Buckwheat. He wasn't doing Stymie.
Yeah, I'm sure that probably when he was doing that, you know, he came across those guys, or maybe he, you know, purposely set out to find them, you know.
Well, Stymie did some actual Hollywood work later, where when they found out he was actually still alive, and he was in some kind of show. It was a small part. I'm blanking on what it is right now, but I mean, he worked up until he passed. But you know, background characters and all that kind of stuff. I was like, good.
Now let's see. Pastmaster Dan says Stymie wore the bowler hat,
and
Buckwheat had the big hair, the kind of like frizzed out hair, right?
Yeah, Buckwheat actually had a dress on from before, and I think I don't know if he was playing the sister or playing the sibling to Farina. Remember Farina?
No.
Farina is the other black.
Oh, the little girl. Did she have like the?
No, that was a boy. Another one made to wear a dress.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh man, Hollywood even back then.
Yeah.
Yikes. Now, someone in the chat, who was it? I just read that. Oh, it's Major Glitch says Kelsey was working with Ben Dunn at Antarctic Press recently doing some covers.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't seen anything about his interiors though. So that was kind of like his
go-to guy.
Yeah. Because he started off at Antarctic Press, didn't he?
I think so.
So it's come full circle for him now. I don't even know what that means. It just sounded like me. Well, I wish he'd get in touch with us. Kelsey, if you're watching, get in touch with us, man.
I know he could be in the chat secretly watching.
He could be.
I tell myself that.
Oh my goodness.
We only talk about you, Kelsey, because we love you.
That's right. You know, and there's a guy with immense talent, you know. We all sort of gravitate towards people with talent. I got to figure out this. I guess I really don't. This is just a sketch, so I could pretty much do whatever I want. But I'm looking back at my painting to see how this guy's his laser gun looks like.
Yeah.
Not that.
Yeah, that drawing I did yesterday, I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna paint this. I'll paint it later, make it look better. So I'm gonna paint all over it.
That'll be cool. I mean, we talk about this all the time. I mean, not on the show, but off camera about, you know, doing more painting, doing more single illustration type stuff. And I think I brought it up on one of my multiple streams I did last night about, you know, that suggestion you had about taking Princess of Mars and doing an illustrated version of it.
Mm-hmm. That would be great. I think the people here would love it because it's right up your alley. And you've been selling them on it for, you know, you're that type of artist.
Yeah, because I mean, you got to get to a point where you start thinking, okay, you know, and like I said, I've been thinking about this ever since I turned 60. It's like, okay, well, how long do I have where I can still really bring it? And it's kind of like, you know, and so how many projects do I have left in me?
Until you're 90, man, you got energy of a 16-year-old. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but doing stuff like this, people, I mean, the younger people in the audience probably wouldn't, but older guys that are closer to our age, Marcus Killigrew, guys like that, they know what I'm talking about. But it's like, it gets harder to do this detailed stuff, not only because your eyes are getting worse, but also it's just, you know, a concentration level, and your hands get achy after a while and things like that. So I want to transition just to becoming a full-time painter, because I think, you know, look at McGinnis, man, he was painting until he was 90.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've seen on Instagram, but Thomas Blackshear is like posting a ton.
Yeah, that's why did I send that to you today? I was like, oh man, look at this. I didn't even know he went into doing Western like, paintings. I was just like, this is awesome.
Yeah, I know. And the colors are just like really outstanding. And there a lot of it is because he's a black guy, so he does a lot of, you know, African American or black art. And I don't know how he would categorize it, but so these are like a lot of black cowboys that he's doing, and just the color that he's doing, how he brings out the color in the skin tones.
Yeah,
God, so nice. And then you have like the contrast of these, like this brightly colored either outfits or surroundings, and that, you know, the dark skin. It just he's figured something out. I mean, the guy's a great artist. He always has been, but this stuff is really cool.
Yeah.
Because it's Western art, and Western art is kind of like the go-to fine art thing. Like commercial illustrators go into Western art, you know, after they're done doing illustration. But there's so much of that out there, and there's a lot of talented guys doing it. You almost have to kind of find your own sort of little niche, a little approach to it that other people aren't doing. And that's what he's doing. It's just like that stuff is so interesting to look at just because of the color. And of course, he's extremely talented, but
he's drawing different too.
Yeah.
It's like a little bit more slightly cartoony.
Yeah, there's a little it's more stylized, yes.
Yeah.
And but I think he's really onto something. And that's, you know, when you're hitting that market, that's as competitive, probably more so than comics is, because like I said, every illustrator goes into Western art. I mean, there's no place else to go. If you still want to draw stuff, but you want to get into a gallery, it's like, Western or wildlife,
Yeah. I don't want to be telling tales out of class, but this could probably already been known about Thomas and his art. He was doing a lot of religious art.
Yeah.
And he was doing it for some Christian organizations. And he stopped because of some of the bad business practices that certain
supposedly Christian people
were. Yeah. And it soured him on doing this stuff. And it was some of his best work.
Oh, Lord, he did some really great Christian work.
I mean, he still does it, but now he's mostly doing it for himself. And it was really sad because it felt like he was so inspired. And it always takes some dummy to get in the way of the inspiration.
Yeah. He always, the thing that was so great about his stuff, or is great about his stuff, and you can even say this in his Western stuff, there's just a hint. There's always a little hint of fantasy in it.
Yes.
So it elevates it beyond just a portrait of Jesus or whatever, Yeah. Like you saw the piece of Christ he was wearing the robe, but it was like made up of all the nations' flags, and he's holding the one guy up.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a killer piece. And the one with the kid asleep in bed and the angel holding the candle.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's so good. Now, of course, I have hanging out in my hallway, I have his King Kong poster.
Oh, really?
Not exactly a religious piece, but man, it's so freaking awesome.
Thomas Blackshear is probably one of the only artists out there that made Drew Struzan go, wow, how did you do that?
Yeah. He is. He did people may know the Universal Monster stamps.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
From like, what was that, 25 years ago, 30 years ago now? But
yeah, it has to be older than 25, yeah.
So it was in the 90s, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it was like 30 years ago or more. I remember getting those going, holy crap, this. This is nice. And
next level for sure.
Yeah, when you get, when you're doing art for a stamp, that's pretty freaking cool.
I did X-Men stamps.
Seriously, for like the post office?
Yeah, for Mongolia. Hey, but there are still stamps.
Wait a minute. What? Okay. How did this happen?
So Marvel called me and they said, hey, you want to do some stamps? It'll be the first, Marvel X-Men stamps. And I was like, sure. Can you get them done by tomorrow? I was like, how many are there? 8? I was like, excuse me? We don't got time to divvy these out. I was just like, oh man.
So you had to do 8 stamps in like overnight.
Yeah, well, I called a couple of friends to come over to help me ink them because I could draw them. And that's the thing, is like they didn't give me like the dimensions to, like a normal artist would draw them a little bit bigger. I was almost drawing them to size, not exactly post that, but it was crazy. I was like, and I also had to show them thumbnails of it.
Well, wait a minute. Boy, they must have got back to you pretty freaking quick.
Oh, they did. It was a adventure. It was so crazy. I had to fax them. They say, nope. Yes. No, this. Okay. Yes. Do it. It's like, oh man. And so I was just drawing and inking all night. And I just got a couple of friends to come over and ink some, and I had to fix their inks because they didn't ink like me. So I had to make it, look enough like me. Hold on, I'll look them up real quick.
Yeah, I gotta see this because I know that they did some, like, they used some artwork, existing artwork, for when they did some superhero stamps a while ago. Like it was Wonder Woman, and I don't know if they were Garcia Lopez art on those. Marcus, you probably would know um, who did those stamps. But there was like Wonder Woman, there was a Superman, and
Oh my gosh, yeah, these were done in '95.
do you have it on your computer, or do you actually have the art or the
I'm
copies of
gonna
the art?
I'm gonna send it to you so you could.
All right. Do you know what those superhero stamps I'm talking about that weren't that long ago? They used, like, it was existing DC art. It was like, I
No,
know there was a Wonder Woman stamp, and I don't know if it was like I said, I don't know if it was Garcia Lopez or who it was. But that would be cool, even if you didn't get commissioned to use something you did already. And that would still be pretty cool. Major Glitch says Aaron should cannonball himself for that one at Marcus. Oh, for including Marcus as being an older guy. I know Marcus is close to our age, so. Best Age Comics says, congratulations on your great kickoff, Aaron and David. Thank you, guys. We appreciate it. We do want to remind everybody, of course, that is why we're doing this draw stream right now, is to promote Barbaric Adventures #1. So if you haven't backed, please consider doing so. I won't go through the entire campaign again, but you've got 4 cover options here. Mine, David Williams, Dan Lawless, and of course, Joe Jusko contributing to this project as well, the legend that he is. So that's really cool. This is a 64-page square-bound, 8.5 by 11. So I can't really call it a magazine, but it's kind of, the purpose is to sort of emulate Savage Tales as they used to be back in the day. You know, it's funny though, Warren magazines like Creepy and Eerie, they were square-bound. So now the paper quality on these is going to be higher, obviously. But that's kind of what we're going for. And this is what we've been talking about today, is just the stories, you know, how we came about, you know, what we're doing in this book and why we're doing it. And this is just a really cool, exciting project. And if you guys haven't backed yet, please consider doing so, because I think you're going to be sorry if you miss out on this. It's going to happen pretty quickly in comparison. This is not going to be like a campaign that's open for, you know, eight or 9 months or something like that, like a lot of ours are. This is going to move pretty quickly. So you want to get in early rather than later. And you'll find a link in the description of this video, and it's pinned to the chat. And if you're watching on X, like I had mentioned, you can just go over to Indiegogo, type in Aaron Lopresti or Barbaric Adventures to take you right here, and you can back this project. So another thing you guys need to be warned about is you will be getting a bill for shipping later. For some reason, I haven't quite figured it all out, the new formatting at Indiegogo, they now charge shipping at a later date. So I think it's when the book goes into demand, which is now called Pledge Manager. It's not called In Demand anymore. That's when the shipping becomes available, and you'll get a bill for that. And people are telling me also that it's not, you're not getting charged on your card yet. So I don't know exactly how all this works. So you pledge, and then that pledge you're going to get, I think it's like Kickstarter, because doesn't Kickstarter wait until the project's done before they bill the people? So it may be more like that. I'm not sure. I guess we'll figure it out. John Beatty says, what's up, guys? I didn't get a notice. Well, this isn't officially, John, this isn't officially Graybeards. This is David and me pimping Barbaric Adventures. We're just drawing in the process, so it kind of doesn't look like we're pimping it, but that's really what we're doing.
There you go. I sent them to you.
All right, let me take a look here. Okay. Oh, why do I feel like now that I see this, I've seen these before?
I'm pretty sure I showed them on Graybeards at some point.
Okay.
I think I was showing them to Kelsey because he kept on bringing it up. He's the only one that remembered them.
So these are the David Williams X-Men postage stamps from what country? Mongolia. And I wonder if these are highly collectible. They're probably worth a fortune if you have like a
I don't think so. I don't think so.
What year was this?
95.
Okay, so this is way back. This is probably before I knew you.
Probably.
Yeah, because we were in the Studio Source, which was 96. And so yeah, Gary had some of your work. He was inking, what was that thing you did for Liefeld? Supreme? Yeah. So Gary was inking some of your Supreme stuff, a cover or something. And he's like, what do you think of this David Williams guy, you know? And then he showed me, and I didn't realize this. I think you're the one who told me this, that there was a Shazam piece. And he said, yeah, this is one of David's friends drew this. And I'm like, holy crap. And it was Alex Ross.
Yeah.
You know, it was before Alex Ross was Alex Ross, right? No one knew who it was.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Gary's like, yeah, this is a friend of David's. What do you think of this? I'm like, heck, what do you mean this guy's just got friends that can draw like this? What does that even mean? Yeah, here's Errol Preston. Here's a bunch of his buddies that live down the street. They draw too. And you're like, what? So, yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, I was his cheerleader at one point where he was at San Diego and nobody knew who he was. So I introduced him to like Adam Hughes, Brian Stelfreeze, and you know, he was just like, "Oh, you guys are so great." He was humble at the time.
Yeah, he used to talk to me and Shelly back in the day, but
yeah, them days is gone.
That's right. He's moved up in the world. He's now in the wine and cheese crowd we were talking.
He's like, about. And you are.
Who? Yeah, the good old days. We used to chat with Ringo, and I remember it was so funny because I was like a snob and I didn't even mean to be, because Ringo had come by and he was talking to Shelly, and I'm like, who's this dude? You know, and so I went over there, and she's like, "Oh, you remember Mike, right?" And I'm like, "No." So Ringo's like, "Geez, thanks a lot," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" I go, and I knew who he was.
Yeah.
You know, when he said, "Oh, it's Mike Ringo," and I'm like, "We've met," and he's like, "Yes," and I was like, "I don't remember."
Oh man!
Even when I was young, I was like an idiot. But but yeah, Mike was a cool dude.
No, you just kept on playing with it. And you're like, should I remember you?
What have you done now? Are you an artist?
You know, why should I remember you exactly?
Yeah. Are you one of David Williams' artist friends?
Yeah. He's all, oh, you know David Williams? He's awesome. You're a son of a. Didn't work.
Man, I still can't. Somebody used to ask me that when we first met. I can't remember. You're one of those guys.
It was that San Diego con.
It had to have been, but you're like one of those guys I felt like I've always known.
I mean, when I first met you, I mean, you didn't act like you cared. I was just like,
well,
hey, you know,
no, I didn't have a frame of reference for you, probably.
Yeah, but I mean, even when I'm behind the table, you know, and I see, you know, people I think I should remember or not, I still act like, hey, how's it going? It's
okay. So you're saying I'm an ass?
Yeah.
Well, you know what it is with me is that if someone introduces me to an artist and I don't know who it is,
Yeah.
it's hard for me to have like an emotional reaction because I don't know their work, so I don't know how I'm supposed to react to them. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like you don't want to go, oh, hell yeah, hey, it's great, you know. And I guess I could do that, but I guess I don't know. I wasn't trying to be an ass, but I don't. If I, like I said, if I meet somebody, I'm completely unfamiliar with their work, and I don't have a frame of reference. I'm just kind of like, oh, hi, how are you? You know, kind of thing.
Yeah. It was the same thing. Kind of happened with Frank Cho. I was trying to get him to come over just to talk to me because I was a comic book artist, and I think he thought I was maybe a fan comic book artist who just had fan art and stuff like that. And he kept ignoring me, and I just said, and I saw him get up, and there was no line in front of him or anything like that, and he was going to walk past, and I said, no, come over here, and I literally took him by his arm, and I said, hey, I want you to look at my work. And he had that Frank Cho attitude. All right.
Yeah.
And then he opened up the portfolio, and he was all, oh, wait, hey, why didn't you tell me you draw like this? I know some of this stuff. And I was just like, why do I have to tell you in this way for you to give me respect?
No, that's how it works, though. I mean, we all sort of do that to it. Maybe you don't, but all of us,
because I never know who I'm talking to.
Well, that's what I mean. So I don't try to be mean, but it's like it's hard for me to get like, you know, oh yeah, I love your stuff when I don't know what you've done. You know.
Well, I mean, it's not about saying, hey, I love your stuff and blah blah blah. I mean, just show somebody the courtesy. You're at a show, mingling with people. You never know who you're entertaining. Even the Bible tells you that. You never know you may be entertaining angels.
I know. Okay, so what Aaron Lopresti's an asshole confirmed.
Yeah.
So there it is. I don't know. I have this sort of demeanor about me that's like I've been beat down by life, so I have to really have a reason to get like excited.
Yeah.
I'm always like, oh, yeah, okay, nice to meet you. I don't know. People that have met me, I don't think anybody would say that I was a jerk. I try to be nice to everybody.
No, you're nice once you get to know people.
Well, you know, but that is I don't like people. I don't I was like I don't want to know anybody.
Yeah. I wanted to answer John Beatty. He thinks I'm ignoring, but I wanted to finish our conversation. As far as Mike Rowingo is concerned, he died on my birthday. I talked to him the day before he passed.
Oh, are you kidding me?
He passed on August 12th, not August 9th. Yeah.
Well, that was the thing with Mike is he was only a guy I knew at conventions.
Yeah.
You know? And I didn't do a ton of conventions, and I wasn't very social, obviously, when I went to conventions.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was shocked like everybody, but I didn't know him really well like you did. So, it's like I had met Mike Parabeck, you know, a couple times, but, you know, and he died, I guess, from like didn't have his insulin or something because he was diabetic, I guess. And you're always kind of stunned when you hear that, especially guys that are young.
Yeah.
Because did Mike have a heart attack or something?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, that guy was, I mean, he was gray early, but he was young.
Yeah. It was crazy because when I got the call, it was early in the morning from a friend from a different state, and I was just like, oh man, he keeps calling early. And I thought he was calling to say, yo, happy birthday, bro. You know, that kind of thing. I said, Mike Rowingo died. I was just like, wait, what? Yeah, so it wasn't registering with me. And like I said, I just talked to him the day before, and we were talking movies and how much he liked Superman Returns, and we were talking about that Superman thing, and we were talking comics, and it seemed normal, you know what I mean? And then the next day, I mean, that really shook me up. I was just like, yo, that's crazy.
The only guy that I knew really, really well that passed away was Paul Ryan. I mean, we were really good friends, and our wives were good friends. And I remember just seeing it on social media. You know, like, you forget stunned for a minute. You're like, wait a minute, that can't be Paul Ryan. That, you know, it's got to be a different one. And you're thinking, well, this can't be real. You know, and as you go through that sort of moment where you're just like, what the, that can't be real. And unfortunately, it was.
Yeah. Like I met Waringo probably at the same show where I met you.
Probably.
Because he came up to me and we were going to dinner, and he was the only one carrying a portfolio. And he stopped me and he goes, "Hey, are you David Williams?" And I was just like, "Yeah." I'm like, "How do you know I'm not?" You know. He goes, "Oh yeah, you know, I wanted to, you know, come up to you earlier." And he's like, "Hey, can you look at my portfolio?" And we're literally trying to get into this, you know, restaurant. And I said, "Yeah, sure." And so everybody else went in, and I'm looking at his stuff, and you know, Sandra doesn't leave without me, so she's looking at it too. And I'm like, "Dude, you're on your way. What are you talking about? Your stuff is awesome." I think he was already working,
Yeah.
and but I don't think he was working a lot. And I was like, "Dude, you're going to be the next big thing." And he's all, "No," you know. I was like, "Yeah." I could tell early on the trajectory of where he was going to go, you know, because of the style that he's choosing, you know. And he's like, "Oh, that means a lot." And then he just stayed in touch periodically. Like we probably talk like once a year, you know, or something like that. And I was just like, "Oh, this guy, I'll never talk to him again." But you know, he was just really cool about, like, "Oh man," you know. I was just like, "That's cool." And the crazy thing is that like I was doing other things than comics, so I was the one that was probably a little bit more elusive, hard to get to.
Yeah.
But you know, he'd find a way, or see him at a show or whatever and stuff like that. And he's all, "You're the only one that, you know, early on that, you know, what you said was true. You had faith." That I was just like, it was obvious on the paper. It has nothing to do with me being nice or anything. I'm just telling you about what I saw, you know.
Well, that's funny because I had the same thing happen to me with Terry Dodson. He came up to me, and I wasn't anybody, you know, and you could argue I'm still not, but I was even worse then. I mean, I was like barely had broken in, and I had a table at the local Portland show, and Terry comes up with his portfolio and goes, "You want to look? Can you look at my stuff?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And I was like, "Okay." And I told him the same thing. I said, "Dude, you keep this up, you're going to be a star." And sure enough,
there you go.
Yep. And
yeah, I wish someone would have told us that.
yeah, no one told me that. Those words, no one's ever told me that. It's like you keep at it, youngster. You'll be a star. I'm like, okay, I'm only 62, but I'll keep practicing. Well, it is kind of funny though, because I do think a lot of us, because it matters to us, that we do continue to get better, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys, you know, they hit their stride pretty early and they just kind of coast, which is fine. But when you're never in a position like that, you well, at least with me, I've always had kind of a chip on my shoulder. I got something to prove, which is kind of ridiculous at 62 years old in a 35-year comic book industry history, that I'm still, you know, feel insecure and trying to be better. But I mean, it gets me, it's made me better, you know, being that way. So, and you're constantly meeting people that are super talented, and you're like, we talk about that all the time. You go on Instagram, you're like, I don't know who this guy is, but he's freaking kicking my butt, and I don't like it, you know. So then you work a little harder. so I guess I'm grateful, if there's one good thing about never like being a big name in the industry, it's like from an artistic standpoint, it was motivation to get me better.
Yeah. John Beatty said, I heard stories about David from others that he hated comic book artists and would rip them a new one. I don't know where you heard that from, but it's true.
I got to a point where I quit looking at portfolios because I didn't know what to say, because you'd only see a good one like once every 50 people that you looked at. And I don't like to, regardless of what may have been insinuated here today, I don't like being mean to people.
Well, I don't think telling the truth necessarily is mean.
But it feels like it.
Of course it does, because you've been in that position,
Yeah.
on being on the other side of the table. But every time I would do that, I would give them options. I said, I could give you my convention critique, or I could give you the truth. What do you want? And that would
before or after you look at their work.
Yeah, no, before. And that would separate the wheat from the tares.
Yep. But you think, would anybody actually say, "Oh, just give me the convention one"? I mean, everybody thinks they want to hear the truth because they think they're really good.
Well, there's a couple, but not a lot. I'd have people completely walk away and go, never mind. Or because they didn't have enough confidence. So if you don't have enough confidence to truly show me what you got, then it deserves whatever truth that's going to come out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the other ones that absolutely wanted the truth, those people wanted to actually learn so that they could get better.
Yeah.
I don't.
Go ahead.
I tell anybody could do art, but not everybody could do what we do.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe your art is meant to be go in a different direction. And plus, art is subjective, and if you want to play in that field, go ahead. But that's not this field. You think it is, but at one point there were standards. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But, of course, they bend the rules on the standards now. They've gotten so lax and liberal with it, unfortunately. But they're used. I don't like. I'm going to get a lot of scorn for this.
Do it.
But I liked it when there was a certain kind of gatekeeping, to comic books. You know what I mean? But anybody could do them now. And I'm just like, okay. That's why, like, when I went to the comic book store and I just saw the wall of comics on all four walls of my local comic book shop, and I was just like, it's just too much. Why do I need to add to this? I was just like, anybody could do it. Anybody could just walk up and say, yeah, I'm a comic book artist. I'm like, do you know how long and how much work it took for me to become a comic book artist? It was crazy. Now,
that's an excellent point, because, I mean, just from the standpoint of there used to be a standard. So you knew what that standard was. And if you got to that standard, then you would get work. And it wasn't, I mean, it was always been a little bit subjective, but you could tell, you look at somebody's work and go, okay, that guy's meeting the standard or that guy's not. And now, let's face it, it happened with Image, or that era where, style became more important than content. And then that opens the door for just about anything. And, but yeah, I mean, at least it was structured enough that you kind of knew what the standard was and what you had, what you had to do to get there. And now that's like you said, there is no standard. So it's just kind of whatever. Depends on who's looking at it, I guess.
John Beatty says, he's responding again. He said, it was you when you were in animation, and you, David, were the guy who worked hard and thought comic artists were lazy. Not all untrue, by the way. I was just curious about who was who this David Williams was. Ah, I see. Well, there are a lot of lazy comic book artists. It's in their nature, but
Yes.
there are a lot of hard working comic book artists that like to push through their natural inclination to be lazy. You know, Aaron's one, very hard worker. Ron Garney, very hard worker. Even outside of comics, it seems like he's still doing work. He's working on his body. He's working on his martial arts. He's working on family. You know, our natural inclination is to put the pencil down and who else? Graham Nolan, extremely hard worker, and works on himself even after drawing. And I was just like, you guys are crazy. I mean, you guys draw when you're not asked to. I used to have that energy when, I was a kid, or I just say younger, in my 20s and early 30s. Then after that, I was just like, you know what? If I ain't getting paid, I ain't drawing.
Yeah, exactly. And thus lies the rub of why it's so hard to get people to come on this show.
Yeah.
I ain't drawing for free. Get it?
Well, by and large, most of my drawings that I do here, someone's going to buy it at some point. So I don't feel like I'm doing it for free.
Yeah. No, I do the same thing unless the drawing's a complete disaster and it I never throw anything away, but I got a flat file of like unsuccessful drawings. I just throw them in there because it's like I can't. I have a hard time throwing comic books away just because I collect them, And it's the same thing with original artwork. It's just like I've had people give me artwork that I didn't necessarily want, but I would never throw it away.
Yeah.
And because it's just out of respect for the effort that they put into making the art.
Yeah.
And I can't do that to myself, even though I look at stuff. I mean, if I get like a half-developed sketch on a piece of paper and you just know it's not going anywhere, I'll wrinkle it up and throw it away. But if I get to a point where it's finished and I look at it and go, God, this blows, I just stick it in the never to be seen again drawer, but I won't throw it out.
Yeah. I think you missed a super chat by Major Glitch.
Well, then, you can't miss it if you're not looking for it. Here we go. Major Glitch for £2 sterling. It says, Aaron, someday you're going to be a star. It better be quick, man. I don't know how much time I got left. Let's see. John Beatty says, I know I was on your side, David. I was just impressed that someone was speaking out. I wanted to meet the balls behind the thinking. There you go.
Hold on. Let me whip them out.
Okay, John, you may get more than you bargained for.
Hold on. I'm whipping them out. Oh, the lights went out.
Is this like that scene from Blazing Saddles?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, I was only going to do this for an hour, and we're already like an hour and a half. And since David is done, but you guys, this kind of gives you a flavor of what Graybeards used to be before it was Graybeards.
Yeah.
Like, David and I would just get on like this and we would draw usually the same thing. So it was kind of a competition. We draw Captain America, Silver Surfer, whatever, and just kind of chat about the industry and our experiences. And so this is kind of a throwback.
I mentioned Popeye so much that I just had to draw Popeye.
That's a really good. Now, were you looking at anything, or you got it out of your head?
It's out of my head.
That's pretty good. Because even I did a Popeye a while ago in color, and I didn't try to keep it exactly on model, but I had to look it up, because there's Popeye you vision in your head, but then there's Popeye like, okay, what did he actually look like in the cartoon? And so that's pretty amazing. You got that, pulled that out. John Beatty says, I used to do this with a few friends too. What? Go online? Seriously? Is he talking about gray? Is he making fun of us and saying graybeards? I don't know if he's making a joke there or not. Henry Jeremy says Dan's ball sack character was about to be displayed. Poor Dan, he's never going to live that down. Oh, yeah. We'll have a comic, ball sack versus schmagma.
Yeah,
it'll be a. All right, let's take a look at the campaign here real quick, and then I'll wrap this up. I know you got to go here pretty quick anyway. Oh, we're over 18.
Woo! Yeah,
18 backers. Let's get that. Let's get 220 backers in the next 30 seconds. Can we do it? No, but so here's what I'm going to do going forward. I'm going to do a lot more of this going forward, just for promotional reasons. So, I'll either do it by myself, or David will join in. Maybe John Beatty will come in and draw with us once in a while. But I just want to make you guys aware that this is the campaign that just went active yesterday. It's kind of a Graybeards project. Features David, features me, features Dan Lawless, Gary Martin has some work in it, and it's a black and white Savage Tales type magazine book, if you will. It's square bound, 64 pages, 8.5 by 11. It'll be on nice paper though; it won't be on newsprint. So we encourage you guys to back this. This is going to be a really cool project, and I don't think you're going to want to miss it. So please back if you can. And those of you wait until payday, that's, hey, we'll take it whenever we can get it, just as long as we can get your support at some point. And we appreciate it very much. We thank you guys for joining us today. We had we got 240 people, so that's not too shabby for a
impromptu.
An impromptu live stream. But I've got some stuff I want to work on for the book, and I'll be doing more of these just so you guys can see my process. And
we can do more of these types of shows and just call it light gray.
Light gray, oh, I like that. That's pretty good. See, David's the brains of the outfit, man. I just am coming along for the ride. Anyway, I'll show you what I was working on here real quick. Not quite done with it, but good enough for our purpose.
Almost made me choke on my. He said, "Call it coffee and cream."
Awesome. All right, so I took what was a pretty crappy sketch, I think, from yesterday and turned it into a decent piece of artwork. We're almost done there. Just got to finish that caveman in the foreground and then a couple bodies in the background there. Maybe put a little a pterodactyl flying in the background. So there you go.
We can't name it coffee and cream. It's too gay.
I know that is kind of
cream in my coffee.
Yeah, that is kind of gay when you think of it that way. Yeah. It's like, remember that group Peaches and Herb or whatever, Peaches and Herb or whatever. Or at least that was a guy and a chick. So
yeah.
Let's take a closer look at this Popeye. I love that. That's so good. So do you do that like with the Flintstones too, or is it just Popeye's kind of your go-to? Popeye's
kind of my go-to. And it's probably just the same face over and over. I'll do another one with his mouth open, and that's it. I didn't do it like this is a kid thing. Obviously, it's drawn better than how a kid would have did it. So. All
right. Well, hang on a second. Now I got to share my Popeye that I have from a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Here you go.
There you go. Now that's a Popeye.
So you can see, I tried to keep it kind of on model, but then I kind of made it, gave it my own sort of flair to it. And then I just started coloring with a colored pencil, and I just got so freaking carried away. 2020 Judas Priest, man, that was back during COVID. This was like from an Aaron Con, I think I did this.
It's like, where does time go?
Dude, man, the older you get, the faster it goes too. It's crazy.
Exactly.
All right, everybody. Hey, thanks for joining us. And please back Barbaric Adventures. Tell your friends. Help us spread the word and get this campaign up to where it needs to be. And we appreciate all your support. And you guys, we'll see you next time. I don't know when it'll be, but it might be sooner than you think. So catch y'all later. Thanks, guys.